Hey, good afternoon, everybody. Tom Stewart here, Smart Business Moves. It's Thursday, which means it's the end of the week for Smart Business Moves, and it also means it's on the spot Thursday. Our secret guest this week, if no one figured it out with 2 full weeks of clues, is Stephanie Nesseth. Hey, Stephanie, how are you today?
I'm very good. How are you guys?
Somebody did get it.
No, after so many years, the H is silent. Don't trip over your tongue.
Yeah. I trip over my tongue all the time, along with a lot of other things.
That? Yeah. Yeah, it's just Nesseth. The H is silent.
Nesseth. Okay. Stephanie is in Lincoln, Nebraska. She has a house cleaning service called Absolutely Clean. She's also founding director of Time in a Bottle. She's going to take some time here shortly and tell us all about that. And it's an awesome story. You're going to love it. And then for the rest of the hour, we'll do a little bit of on the spot. But before we get too deep into that and I lose track of time and I don't take care of my obligatory obligations, we're going to jump real quick to what we're doing next week with Smart Business Moves. So Heather Camp is going to be with us on Monday, and she's going to office or not. What's Heather going to be talking to us about?
So she's going to be talking, Tom. She's not going to really be talking to us so much as talking with us about. So you should be ready for this. Sorry, Tom. Just a discussion around. Is it still smart to have a physical office, brick and mortar? We've been kind of moving around this idea for a while, and now with COVID, does it make sense? And if it does still make sense to have an office, how are you utilizing your office? What are you using it for? How's that working? And if not, what's out there? What's the next stage? So just a conversation around whether or not it's good to have an office, brick and mortar. Where are we going with this now? Sort of moving forward. What's the future going to look like? Oh, hey, Marlo. Hey, Denise. Marlo didn't guess you, Steph. I thought she might.
Almost.
Oh, okay. She
almost did.
So what do we have going on Tuesday, Liz? Who's our guest on Tuesday?
All right. So I know you guys probably think that I just love to bring my family on and maybe I'm bored and it's the only way, but that's not it. I kind of do like my family. But this is my brother. He is my oldest brother. I have 6. And my brother is going to tell us what I hope is going to be an inspiring story for everyone. He was a homeless drug addict for I don't know how many years. He's going to tell us how many years, a couple of decades. And he got clean and sober. And within 6 years, he was a multimillionaire. So, and within, what was it, Tom? He said 12 years, he was over 10 million.
Yeah.
Right?
Crazy amount of money.
Yeah. And so he's going to talk to us about how he did that, what it took, different types of thinking, that how he thinks it is just different than like how other people think, and just some of the stuff that he's done and that he believes really contributed to getting to this multimillionaire status. So I think he's going to be inspiring. He's very inspiring to listen to, even to me, and I'm his big sister. So,
and he's given Liz and myself both advice in the past that was kind of hard to take, and quite honestly, we didn't act upon it as aggressive as we should, and we look back on that advice and regret not having listened. So he's going to be sharing some things with you that might make sense, but you might not want to do. But if past experience means anything, if you do it, you'll probably be glad you did afterwards.
Yeah. So Denise, he started in the construction industry, and he now does project management, and I'm not even sure. He'll tell us everything that he does now. But he started in construction. That was his thing, with low-wage employees that turned over constantly. He couldn't keep a contract or a construction worker for 3 days. That was like, wow, I kept one for 3 days. This is awesome. So he understands our plight of having employees that turn over. Yeah, so I think you'll enjoy the conversation.
Wednesday is probably our favorite day of the month. It is at least this coming up Wednesday. It's Deal Day. And for anyone who hasn't joined us and had fun with us on Deal Day, we have vendors who provide products and services to the residential cleaning industry. And each one of them gets 4 minutes to share with us what they do, what they're offering. And they each have a special deal just for smart business moves where it's good for 48 hours. So at the end of our presentation on Wednesday, you'll have basically 48 hours to take advantage of a unique deal you're not going to find anywhere else. And, gee whiz, we could probably take the rest of the hour and talk about all of the deals that we've had in the past. Just suffice it to say that it's fun, and you'll be hard pressed not to find something there that wouldn't be of interest and of value to you.
But you do want to know, it's a pitch fest, y'all. People are coming here, and that's what this call is. It is a pitch fest. They're going to be pitching. So if you don't like pitching and you're like, no, I hate it when people try to sell to me, don't come. You won't like it. 100% a pitch fest. It's just they're pitching an amazing deal. So that's the little twist on that.
We try not to do that to you the other days of the month, and we just kind of lump it all in one day and just get it over with, right?
That's right.
Pretty much. What do we got going on next Thursday for On the Spot?
So let's see. We have a secret guest, and I guess I forgot to give you a topic for that, Tom. Yeah. Let's see. What is a good topic for her? Multi-locations, maybe, or not so much. It's more multiple service options, maybe.
Yeah, multiple services, multiple locations, working with your spouse.
Listen to us giving you all of these clues.
Yeah, those are clues, and they're not even like wrapped up clues, but they're clues. That's all you get today. No more clues today.
I did have a clue. You want me to
Go ahead.
All right. So this guest is not a fryer.
Not a fryer.
Not a fryer.
Fryer as in a priest, a prophet, or
that's already good, Stephanie. You gotta work with that.
Good question. Fryer with a Y.
Fryer with a Y, not a fryer.
Oh my goodness. Stephanie, thank you for joining us today. I'm sure everybody here knows you. Not sure if everybody knows your story, though. You want to just kind of take it back to the beginning and share with us a little bit about?
Sure. Gosh, it's been almost 20 years, which is mind-boggling to me. But my son had cancer, and I taught preschool. And you can only put in so many days off before you really need to figure out what it is that you're going to do differently if you don't work for yourself in a cancer situation. And so I knew that I quickly needed to find a job where I was in control. So that's what I did. I was on a committee for a silent auction, and I called Married Maids, and this is like 20 years ago. Remember that. And they gave us $65, and I said, what can I clean with that? And they said, oh, maybe a kitchen. And I said, are you kidding? Only a kitchen for $65, 20 years ago. This is Married Maids. And I'm OC, you can't tell by looking at anything in my house right now, but that drove me a little crazy that for $65, that's all that could happen. And so I asked my neighbor if I could clean her house. I did, and the rest is pretty much history. So then at that point, I had to position the business so that I didn't have to be there. So from the very beginning, we have always tried to have a policy and procedure set up in such a way that it was okay for me to be absent. So I've been practicing this year for a long time. So I kind of have that ahead of everyone else, just because we seriously have been practicing all the different scenarios, being remote, anything that you can think of, me being in another state, virtual assistants, we've tested it all. And so we were on a pretty good roll of 2 years of me not being in the office every single day. And so when this all COVID happened, the big pivot wasn't that I wasn't there or that our managers were used to the absent part. The huge pivot was making sure that our staff had the energy. Because for me, energy level, it's not just me. And especially when you're not there and you're remote, the people that are there in front of your desk every single day answering your phone are the ones that truly need to have the energy. You need to have the energy to push from behind and lead, but I'm not a leader that's going to be out front pulling and pushing. Like, I'm coaching. I'm not going to pull them along. If I have to pull them along, we're never going to make it. And so I coach and try and lead from a different place so that I can give them the autonomy to do what needs to be done. That was the biggest thing. And so sitting down with my managers and making sure, if nobody shows up next week, do you have the energy to keep hiring? Do you have this kind of energy? And the other reason that I had to make sure that that was possible is I'm immunocompromised. And so whether I wanted to be there or not, I can't. I take a medication called mycophenolate, and it completely suppresses my immune system so that all of my diseases don't fight my own body. So with no immune system, the energy level, again, had to be really important for us. Does that make sense?
That's another obstacle that you had to overcome, Steph. I mean, first you had, your son had cancer, and then tell us a little bit about, if you don't mind, when you first got sick. That was huge.
Well, yeah, for sure. I mean, he was 11 years old. He's 32, 33. I lose count. I'm not that mom that remembers what time your baby was born. Ask your dad where the birth certificate is, and we'll figure it out. That's just not me. I'm more in the moment. I'm not looking at a clock. And because that's kind of who I am, that also became how we sold our business. I collect clocks. So we have clocks all over our office, and none of them are set to a time, which will drive every UPS man bonkers. But it's on point because time doesn't matter. If all of us have learned anything over the last 8 months, how fast has this all gone? How crazy has it all been that we thought, okay, June 15th, we're all going to be good and let's go next. And here we still are. And we're looking at pivoting probably for another year. So energy level, obstacles are life. And that's kind of how I think. And so if you can think that every obstacle is more of a challenge and how are we going to solve this and what are we going to do about it, and make sure that the people that you surround yourself with have the same kind of energy and mission, then it's more of a pivot, which we're calling ourselves the pivot queens in our office right now because we're getting very good at it. But that's for me is how we see it. Christopher came out of surgery, his third surgery, I think, and they, at that point, to remove the tumor, had to remove the entire roof of his mouth. And so he was open from his palate. So he could, Sister Margaret used to call me at school and say, can you please tell this kid to stop putting yogurt through his nose? Because he was open, if he didn't have the device in his mouth, then he would push food. That was how he coped with it, was comedy.
Yeah.
But, he came out of surgery and he was upset and he was crying and he started crying and he said, why me, Mom? And I said, why not you? And the nurses across the way looked at me like I was the devil. And I just continued. I said, why not you? You're not special. There's nothing about you that is more special than that nurse, than that patient next door, the person that died last week. We are all God's children. Why not you? Not why me, why not you?
Yeah.
And so that's how my mind had to learn through lots of obstacles to pivot so that I could deal with it and continue with the energy. Yeah, it's a mindset.
I love that you said that about the energy stuff, because I really never would have thought of that. And as soon as you said it, I was like, wow, that makes perfect sense, because that is what it takes to get through stuff and not be stopped by stuff, which is what I've seen in you. You just keep going. And now I hear what you say too about why not. I'm guessing that with Christopher, you're like, why not you? But I'm guessing when the flooding happened, you're like, why not me? Why not us?
Why not us?
Why not?
Next. Yeah, my accountant, besides COVID, and Tom, I live in Cedar Rapids, Iowa, and I know everybody thinks Nebraska. I'm from Nebraska, and I'm a huge Husker fan. Maybe that's why you think Nebraska, but I'm from Nebraska. We're in Cedar Rapids, Iowa. So then we also had the derecho. And so we had just kind of gotten through COVID. Our numbers were starting to go back up. We just finished our facility. Tom, when I visited your facility years ago, you have been a dream in my head from the get-go. To be able to train on site like that is just huge. And so when COVID happened, because we couldn't meet anymore in our very large office, we just tore it all apart and we made it a training center. So we had just put new mattresses down. New bed had just showed up. We were training in-house because it didn't seem fair to train in clients' homes when we are telling them that we're safe, we're educated, we know what we're doing, and now I'm going to train somebody in your home. That doesn't make me feel safe. And so that's when we changed our training to in-house. Then derecho hit. And we had no building. And that brand new facility that we just finished had no roof on it. And I walked in, we had collected emergency things in half the building had no roof. So that part wasn't even safe to go into. And my internal office was collapsing on itself. But our reception office and stuff we could still get into. So we snuck in there. My accountant wanted to get some files. And so we let her in and she stopped and she kind of started crying and turned up and said, nope, no time for that. And she goes, let me have my moment. I said, you can have your moment once we leave here. But we're going to collect stuff safely and get out of here. And then you can sob in the parking lot all you want. But we don't have time for that. There's no energy for it. And I have to surround myself with people who are positive and don't have that draining energy because it's easy to suck it in. And so when people do that around me and I'm in this pivoting action, trying to get other people to have the same kind of energy, that don't allow that energy in, I'll stop it right away. I'll say, not now. As soon as we solve whatever challenge is going on, then we'll circle back and let's talk about it. But right now, we need to focus. So you have to make sure that people that are with you can handle that kind of communication. It's very straightforward. There's no punches. I don't play games. So I need people that are straight up with me.
Wow.
That have the same energy.
Okay,
you're amazing. You're amazing, Stephanie. I mean, there's a couple of things that mantras that I use quite often. Things like life is 10% what happens to you and 90% how you react to it. Or somebody starts complaining or feeling sorry for themselves, I'll tell them that that's an indulgence that we just can't afford right now. Right. But it's easy. It's so easy to say those things, but to actually live it and do it is, wow. That is awesome. Hats off, Stephanie.
But Tom, you also have to understand that you also have to be vulnerable with your people and call them and say, I'm done. And there may or may not be Tito's in here right now with my diet lemonade. There's not right now, but I'm just saying, it doesn't mean you don't feel or have emotions or close the bathroom door and cry. But as leaders, we don't have the option. You cannot take that stance around your people.
Right.
Yeah.
Not when you're trying to leave.
You should do everybody
Your head
quit.
up.
That's true.
You give license to everybody to give up.
Say it again.
You can't do it. Wow.
All right, guys. So
Yeah,
the reason
absolutely.
I wanted to bring Steph on today and talk about this topic is first because she has overcome a lot of obstacles. She didn't even talk about them. I think for her, they're like, she doesn't think of them as big obstacles. So she's like, that's why she's not bringing them up. I mean, I could bring them up, but I think you guys kind of get the point that they're just more part of life for her. So the reason I wanted to bring her on was because I wanted everybody to sort of see this mindset of whatever's happening, it doesn't have to stop you. If the things that have happened to her didn't stop her, not only did they not stop her, just sort of her company has grown through all of this, then yours too. Why not you? I'm gonna use Stephanie's phrase. Why not you? If you can do it. So I want to move on to.
And we have learned so much.
I think I cut you off, Steph.
No, that's okay. I just said we have learned so much over the last 7 or 8 months between losing our building, and our entire town was hit by essentially a hurricane, Cat 4 wind. So, our entire tree canopy is gone. It was, you couldn't even move around here. We had to shut down for 2 straight weeks. You couldn't even get out of my neighborhood. So all of that, and right before the derecho hit, we were downsizing. I was not going to move into a bigger building. I was convinced that I had it down. We were remote, and I was downsizing. Since the derecho and COVID combined, we have discovered that we truly need that facility. And so it'll be interesting to hear to that call next on to office or not to office, because we have decided to go the opposite way, even though I thought I was all over it.
That's interesting. I'll be curious to see your comments too. So you guys, it is on the spot today. If you have any questions, please put them in chat. You guys know how on the spot works. When we run out of questions, the call will be over. We do have 4 questions that came from my Mastermind Accountability group that we can supplement with while we are getting questions rolling. But let's hear questions. Denise, Marlo, I know y'all usually have something up your little sleeves there. So what do you got? Stephanie, did you see that Denise takes your same medication?
I just read that. Yes. It's
How
not
weird.
a fun med. Well, it's a cancer med and used for autoimmune diseases. So it suppresses, it's an immunosuppressant. It's pretty common in people that have autoimmune diseases.
I don't know. I just wasn't expecting to have somebody else right here on the call this quickly too. I was like, what? How weird is that? Oh, okay. So
Should we start off with some of your questions, Liz?
sure.
Well,
They're not really mine. These are the ones coming out of MMA group, Tom.
so here's an easy one. Who does your payroll?
Good.
So we don't have to take the whole minute. If we can do it in less, then we will. So I'll go ahead and start. I have an in-house accountant. His name is Kyle.
On time. We don't see the timer.
Oh my goodness.
No clock.
Golly day. It's been one of those days, Stephanie.
It's okay. We call it a year.
You have energy to get past it, Tom?
I do.
All right.
My day's just getting started. Okay.
Right.
I have an in-house accountant. His name is Kyle. I love Kyle. Liz will tell you. He does our payroll, and then we pass it off to QuickBooks Payroll, and they do the taxes and all that.
Yeah, Bill. It's one of those years. Wow, that was quick, Tom.
Yeah.
Really quick.
Hey,
All right.
Bill, how are you? Bill's friend of the show. You ready to go, Stephanie?
Sure. I have two people that do my payroll. Shauna, she works for a company called KTS, so it's an outside vendor. And then my HR manager handles timesheets, so she completes those, turns them into her, and then we just print. That's it.
Too easy.
This is an easy question.
Yep, Liz.
All right, so I'm going to take all of my time because I want to be wasteful right now. Okay, so we use Gusto, but we have only been using it for a short time, maybe 6 months or so. And even with Gusto, we still have to have somebody in the office that is collecting information and making sure that everybody fills in their information correctly and does some of the other time tracking needs that we have. So it is not ideal for this one reason. I love Gusto, don't get me wrong, but they don't process work opportunity tax credits. And I really want a payroll company that does that. I think Paychex might. And so I'm looking around right now for another payroll company just because of that. I do love Gusto, and it's inexpensive also. I almost use all my time.
You want to keep those 5 seconds for another
Yes,
question?
I'm writing them down. I'm banking them babies.
Okay. So you know, Stephanie, as a guest, it's perfectly okay if you go over your 60 seconds.
Yes.
Okay.
But Liz and I, under no circumstances, are allowed to do that.
Yes.
All right.
And you will be applauded if you do. Tom will be ridiculed when he does. All right. Oh, we got some questions on here, Tom.
Oh, we do?
Yeah.
Okay. I was asleep at the wheel. So let's go back and get those. Can we have a peek at your hiring process? Okay. You ready, Steph?
Sure. Well, I have a dedicated employee who that's all she does. Right now we have yanked that back just a little bit, and she is out in the field right now because you have to make adjustments when you need to. But we use Indeed, and most of our marketing that is outside of Facebook is all about staff. So I don't really market for my business, if that makes sense, unless it's for hiring. So the commercials that we have on TV right now are all about hiring. It's about our people. And we find that to be something that kills two birds with one stone. So I only have to spend the money on the hiring ad, but it brings in all the other, because people really want to see who your people are. And then we use the steering group. So we do the Orion. We're also use a personality test. And I have permission to go over it. Excuse me. And then we do a phone interview first because we want to see and hear how they communicate. And when I say see, we want to know whether or not they follow directions on whether or not they're going to come in. Then if we like all of that, we set up a second interview and go from there. And once we are to the second interview, now we are nurturing our staff like we do our clients. So we are bringing them water, showing them where the bathrooms are. We only train for a few hours on the first day, so we don't, we just kind of want to know who they are. We go over PPE on the first day and all the safety protocols, orientation, and then, the training, we go from there. Right now it's a little challenging because we don't have a building, but nurturing our most important client, which is our employees.
All right, cool. Hey, Denise, I hope that was helpful. That was great stuff.
Thanks.
Yeah, thank you. You ready, Liz?
Yeah. So we use People Matter, and our ads go out through, I think, Indeed. We do ads in Facebook. We do ads in Craigslist, but our best candidates come from Indeed and Facebook. And actually from our current employees. Probably our best candidates absolutely come from our current employees. And let's see, we do a pre-qualifying little quiz thing. We give everybody this assessment before we hire them. We are now, so we change up our hiring process all the time based on how desperate we are and what we're trying to hire for, et cetera. So right now we are doing Zoom interviews. And I think that's probably something a bit different. I'm still holding on to my 5 seconds.
Fair enough. We use the software formerly known as People Matter as our applicant tracking system. Snag a Job bought them probably a couple of years ago, and I think they call it Snag now. Honestly, we don't love it as much as we used to since Snag took it over, but it works for us at the moment, and we haven't gotten around to seriously looking at other systems. Liz mentioned Paychecks. We are talking to them, and we think that we might move over to them for our payroll processing because they do a much better job with benefits and tax credits, and they also have their own applicant tracking system that kind of automates the process more. We do a lot with Indeed. We do a lot of recruiting with Facebook, some with Craigslist. There's a whole process of getting people in the pipeline and assessing and hiring.
Hey, Tom, that's good. Well, thanks.
What do we have here? Do you have a dedicated person who focuses solely on scheduling? If not solely, what else do they do? That's a question. You're up, Liz. You ready?
Yep. No, we do not have somebody that focuses just on scheduling. Michelle does our scheduling, but she does a lot of other stuff as well. Scheduling takes her about, actually, we just had this conversation yesterday. We did an evaluation of scheduling.
Uh-oh.
Can't hear you, Liz.
You're frozen, Liz.
Uh-oh. Well, let me know when I'm back.
You're
Stop.
back now. You're good.
Stop, dude.
You're still, the clock's running. I feel about that.
Okay. So Michelle, she works on the schedule about 30 minutes a day. And then she optimizes the schedule maybe for another 30 minutes. And the rest of the time she does our service excellence ratings, which like think quality.
Liz, you're frozen again.
Why? Why am I freezing? Why? I don't know.
I'm sorry.
I don't know why I'm freezing.
Let me, you want a little more here? You got more time. Go ahead. Finish your thought.
I don't know what I.
God, you just froze again. Stop it, Liz. Stop breathing.
It up. Am I really? Tell the truth.
No, you're fine.
Yes, you're freezing.
So,
No, sure, she's freezing.
Just our quality driven. She does sales. She does some team member management activities. Is doing some of that.
Good one, Liz.
Leslie, that's. Okay, Liz, we'll go with that for the moment, and hopefully the internet gods will smile on you here before we get around to the next one.
You're funny.
Okay. No, Marlo, we do not have one dedicated person that just does scheduling. Gratuitous plug, Made Central does a lot of the scheduling is automated for, so it isn't a terribly big task. And we work with a support center where we've got multiple branches, and it's just distributed though. I mean, we've got people that work in each branch, and depending upon who's available to do what, one person might be tweaking the schedule for all 3 branches. And I guess the part that goes along with that is dispatching activity, which is keeping an eye on the schedule, the day that the cleanings are actually taking place, making sure that everybody's being productive. If there's a lockout or some job falls off the schedule, getting something quickly to fill in there to fill up everybody's day. And again, that's centralized as well. You ready, Stephanie?
Ready, set, go. We have one person, but he does sales as well. And before we crashed a little bit this year and burned, we decided that one person will schedule 10 teams. So we have other people who handle sales in the office as well, but one person will focus on 10 teams. So once we get back up past that and we're over the 10 threshold again, then we'll have somebody else come in and also work on that. We feel like in order to take care of our clients and dispatch and properly nurture them as well, it's 10 to 1.
Wow, look at all that extra time.
Yeah, awesome. Good job, Stephanie. Okay, I don't think I'm missing.
I don't see any more right now. You guys, get your questions up there.
Liz, you're sounding good there. No freezing or anything.
Ah, ha, ha, ha.
Okie dokie. Are we sending price increase letters or waiting? And what do they say if yes? Yeah, we look at price increases 2 different ways. And actually, this is some, I guess, coaching that Liz gave me. We differentiate between a price increase, which is just like a cost of living increase, so 3 points give or take, versus a price adjustment where you've got a service set that's just not priced properly. Price increases are easy. We just send them out every month explaining that it's been a year and inflation and whatnot, and there's your 3%. The price adjustments are a little trickier, but we're doing that as well. And part of it is our costs are going up. Everything from PPE expenses that we didn't have a year ago to we're having to bump up wages and benefits to get the labor that we need. So all of that's explained in the letter. And I was under the minute, Liz. I just didn't click fast enough.
1 second. I saw it, Tom. I saw that second.
You ready, Stephanie?
Yeah. We handle it the same way that Tom does. We were about to do a mass price increase due to all the extra expenses with PPE and et cetera, but then derecho hit. So we're pausing right now. We're not working for free, don't get me wrong, but we are pausing for now.
There you go, Liz.
Okay, let's see if I'm frozen. No, I'm not. I'm just kidding.
Oh.
Okay. Oh no, am I really freezing? Okay. So yes, we do price increases every month, and we stop them for 3 months, and we are starting again. And our price increases are talking about because we're raising them more than we normally would. And normally we would hit somewhere around that 3% mark. But right now we are raising higher for the exact reasons that Tom said. It's in the letter. PPE expenses, we've had to raise our costs of our pay to be able to attract people, period, much less better people. And we're giving them options. So we're making sure to give them options so that they don't feel like the only option is price increase or cancel.
How about that?
No freezing.
2/3 of a second left. Leslie has a question here. Why not you, Liz? No, wait a minute. That is a question, but
Why not me? I'm good.
do you have some phone rules for answering, discussing your company to prospects, so on and so forth? Stephanie, I think you're up first now. You ready?
Yeah, that's an interesting question. One of the things that we did from the get-go, because I didn't want to be the person that was doing all the sales, didn't have time, had to be with Christopher. And so when I got to that point, we developed a calendar. We haven't done it in a while, but we still use the template to coach our staff. And so every single month, we do a different charity every single month within our community. And we just talked about in the calendar, January through December, who we were and what it meant to be absolutely clean and more than cleaning, more than maids. And that's how we transitioned to letting other people do what I did. We just had to have, it was basically a flip sales chart in a calendar. So somebody could go into a house, do a bid back when we did bids and homes, flip through the calendar and talk about our company the same way. We just created a product that was like a flip chart. That
Very
makes
good.
sense.
I like that.
Yeah, me too.
You
And
Right.
easy too. Yeah. We do have some rules, but I'm not sure that I would really call them rules, more like guidelines, Leslie. So we have a list of 10 things that are on the wall by all of the salespeople's computer that tell the things that we do that other companies in our area don't necessarily do. Like we are a pickup service, pick up and tidy. Other companies don't. So if they mention something like that, we'll use that. We clean up after pets the same way as we clean up after the other family members. So that's a little bit different than what other companies in our area do. So that's on the list. So there's 10 things like that on our list. And I guess one of the rules that we also have is ask more questions, then you give more information. Oh, and here's one, use customer's name 5 times. I guess you do have some.
What was that last part, Liz?
Use the customer's name 5 times. What?
We got you in your last second.
Yeah, we got you overtime.
That's awesome, Bruno. Sorry, go ahead.
No, we do some training. Derek actually has helped us some with this on sales training in terms of proper phone etiquette, and basically it's going through drills where you have people brainstorm all of the awesome things that your company does, the unique value proposition, and what makes us special as a company. And we just go through the process of creating a long list and saying, is that it? Let's make the list longer. We record calls, and we go back and we have people who are on the phones basically audit and review their own calls and basically critique it. And, that's part of the process as well. Wow. We got a lot of people who are doing big rate increases. Kimberly's doing 12%.
Yeah.
Marlo's going, big bucks here per month and hasn't lost anyone. Kimberly, if we've got a customer who's been a long-time customer and we feel that they're priced appropriately, 3% is kind of the baseline. If we have others that we feel that are below what we would be looking for par, we could go higher, and all that would still fall under the annual rate increase. 12% would be awful heavy as just a normal annual increase. There would have to be something that, that the number was actually wrong, that we underbid it. Now you got me thinking. I don't know, Marlo, if that's
I know.
maybe we need to rethink that strategy. I'm stuck in pre-COVID thinking maybe.
Don't be scared.
Yeah, no kidding.
Say, Okay, we got a little more time here. Pam's got a question. What Google product do you find is the best advertising source? Liz, I think it's you're up first on this one.
Am I?
I don't know. Did I just messed up?
I thought it was you. It could be me. Okay, I'll go. What Google product do you find is the best advertising source? I have no idea. So my answer is going to be really, really short. I got no idea. I guess Google My Business is the only thing I even use. So in my area. Oh, no, I guess we have, what we don't do AdWords. And what's the new Google Guaranteed? Yeah, we don't get a ton with that. So yeah, I guess working on Google My Business is the number one thing that we do. I hope that answered your question, Pam. Hopefully these guys have better answers.
Yeah, I hope so too, Liz.
Yeah.
It kind of ebbs and flows. I mean, gee, there was a time there where Google Guarantee / Google My Business was kind of the secret weapon in it. It still works for us. We've been working more with AdWords recently, and we've got some outside help with us, doing that. AdWords, at least I found it's kind of hard to do in house. But if you got somebody that's good at it, we're doing fairly well with that. And just kind of looking at your Google business page and making sure that it's a lot of free stuff that you can be doing for yourself to help with Google, and just some of the basic making sure that your phone number and address and website's consistent across all the directories you're in to get a little more SEO value, so you show up high in the map pack in natural search.
Well,
second to spare.
Eke it out.
Definitely.
Free is always good. So I'm really lax in it right now because I'm just not focused there. I have to get our building back on and our people trained. But when I am, Google My Business pictures, tons of pictures, post every single day. That is the best thing. We've pivoted away from Google and a little bit away from the internet right now, just because people are dialed into the TV. And so we've switched to commercials, which we haven't done in a decade. So yeah, that's where we've switched. Free.
I love free.
I do too. I love free. See, my answer wasn't that bad.
No,
If everybody agreed with me, then my answer was okay.
yeah,
I'm happy.
It was. Your answer was very okay.
That's right. Very okay. Oh, the other thing though, Pam, is I thought of this afterwards because, you go first, you don't think of the best answer. Google reviews is still huge, right? If you're not focusing on Google reviews, then for me, I know I need to do more of that, more Google reviews. I need to have the most, or at least be trying to have the most in my area. Okay, I give up my extra 5.
No, you're on the spot. Reviews are important.
So important.
Kimberly wants to know if we have a plan in place for winter when cancellations will be taking place between snow and sick policy for clients. I think I'm up first.
Yeah.
The honest answer is nothing specific for winter. We don't get a lot of snow. I mean, occasionally a little bit of ice. I think it snowed 3 years ago. But people are going to get sick, obviously, and you're constantly dealing with last minute cancellations. So we do put a focus on making sure that we've got other jobs that are scheduled for days out that we have an understanding that we can pull forward and fill in slots if we need to. We try to have some recurring customers with an understanding that they're flying standby, and if we can get their home cleaned sometime within a date range, they're cool with that. So Probably the biggest part of that plan is for last minute cancellations is being able to fill in lost jobs with business we can pull forward. Ready, Stephanie?
Yep. So we get a lot of ice and a lot of snow here in Iowa. The first thing that we do is post on TV, and the reason that our name is absolutely clean is it's always first in the phone book and on the scroll. So we utilize that free advertising on TV first, and we call it a snow alert. And then we go to our VIP clients. So we have VIP clients that pay for a year in advance, or weekly clients. We always get first priority on our schedule. So we will build up the schedule first, and then we just go on down the line. So weekly, bi-weekly, and then monthlies will just get pushed to as soon as we can get them in.
Yep. Good job. Ready, Liz?
Yep. All right. So I actually have just been thinking about this over the course of the last week, because I'm thinking that things are going to be different this year. And so I'm trying to decide how I want to manage that. And anybody that knows me knows I like to do something proactive. So I'm thinking about the sickness that's going to come that people are going to assume is COVID, right? All the different flus and et cetera. And so I'm trying to decide, I'm figuring out a plan. I'm kind of halfway there with something that's going to be going out next month, beginning next month, to be proactive around the different symptoms, what they might mean, how we're going to be managing them, et cetera. Don't have it in place yet, like I said, Kimberly, but it's a great question. For anybody that isn't doing this, I think that we should all be looking at something to be more proactive around what's COVID going to mean in the flu season hits.
Because we know it's an unprecedented event.
Yes,
and
it is.
we need to prepare. I mean,
Yeah.
that is
It's a great question.
something we
And
need.
we're really not like any other illness, because it is any other illness.
Yeah.
We don't, but the thing that we find is if we address our clients before they address us, we win. So
Yeah.
we just have to address it and figure it out before the snow hits.
Yeah.
Wow. Patricia got an email today announcing that Google Guaranteed is changing to a bid. I've heard that. I haven't seen it in my markets, but it wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah, me either. Good info, Trisha. Thank you.
I normally have a response, Liz, when I see something like that, but I'm not going to be calling them a name out here in the middle of, we'll be reserved.
Good job, Tom.
If you haven't subscribed to Cleaning Business Today, it's really easy. Email first name, last name, and you get our newsletter. You'll be getting the inside skinning on what's going on with Deal Day and, late breaking news within the industry. If you need the link to our resource page, I will drop that in chat. Stephanie, thank you so much for spending the last hour with us and sharing your story. I mean, I think there's a number of really, really awesome takeaways. I mean, we all have to deal with adversity from time to time, and if you just look at it, it's a matter of energy, and then you just have to, you have to have more energy than what the challenge is facing your way, and you can handle just about anything.
Dude, I love that. I love that so much. Yeah, such an easy way to think of it, and it's such an easy way to focus. Where am I going to focus my energy? Right, I'm going to focus on having more.
Yeah.
I love that. Yeah, that's so great.
Well, when you have a kid that had cancer, then you have developed autoimmune diseases, you learn that you only have so much energy.
Yeah.
And you have to prioritize what it is that you want to spend that energy on.
Yeah, I really appreciated hearing you personally speak about energy, because I know that you do have the autoimmune disease that really saps your energy. And so you have always been able to summon the energy to get over and get through. So I'm like,
not always, but
But you did. A lot of people have to and don't. but you did.
Yeah, right. I tend to not think of myself in those situations. If I can focus on somebody else's problem or another challenge, then it takes away what's really going on in my head.
Yeah. I've seen you do that too over the years. I have. I've seen you when the flooding, you're out helping the other people get and sandbagging and all
I
that
mean,
stuff.
we helped everybody first, and then we still haven't taken care of all of our stuff, you know. Within 6 hours, our neighbors, you know, they're 80 and 90 years old. You have to.
Yeah.
You just have to. I'm not amazing, Kimberly. Thank you. I've had 20 years of pushing through. So you guys can all do it.
Yes, you have. Well, thanks again, Steph. I really, really appreciate it. Hey, guys, I hope you enjoyed this week. I thought it was a really great week. Great way to end this week on a high note of, you know, we can all overcome. I think it's awesome. Thanks again, Steph. And we'll see you guys next
Monday,
Bye, guys.
5 o'clock. Heather will be telling us about office or no office. Until then, you guys have a safe weekend. Bye-bye.
Bye, y'all.
Bye, guys.